There we go. Alright. There we go. Okay. Fantastic. Alright. Mixing up all the paints. Welcome to tonight. Hey everybody. Mixing up paints. Oh, hello, folks. I know it's kind of dark in here. Painting in the dark tonight. Not really. So welcome, 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 welcome. So tonight we're going to continue painting the Great Unclean One. And so let's go ahead over where we're at. So off camera, I went ahead and did all of the little sores on him, which I did start those last night. So I finished all the pustules. I finished the teeth down here in the belly, as you guys can see, the pinks. The purple on the tentacles, I finished that. So did a few layers, so it's like light and kind of fades a little bit back to a darker purple. One on the back here, so I went ahead and rusted up all of his chains back here, and then his cloak, or sorry, I don't even know what it is. Basically this little piece of cloth over his butt, I made it all brown, so I've washed it, getting ready for the highlights, hence why I've got the browns here. And yeah, we kind of finished that up on him. And then same thing on all the weapons. So the weapons, like I said, the weapons are going to be super rusted for this guy. So I've gotten the first part of the rusting done, and we're going to do the rest here on stream for all of the various weapons, so you guys can see them. So we're going to also do the smoke clouds tonight. I'm hoping to actually have him basically finished except for the nurglings. Here's his face. So I'm going to go ahead and do the eyes here in a little bit. And then, yeah, we got another couple weapons to do. But before we get to that, I realized that I messed up and skipped his nipples last night. So we're going to go ahead and just put a little bit of crusted sore on his old nips. Just a little tiny bit. That's all there is to it. Just a little bit on his nips, just to kind of make them stand out a bit. I hit one of them with yellow on accident, so that's also why I kind of gonna go back and fix it. Alright, so we've got the nipples on him, and they're gonna go ahead and dry. Just kind of taking a look around. Alright, so let's go ahead and start on the back here. With the cloak. So on the back cloak here, so we're going to go ahead and take a 50-50 of Monster Brown and Oak Brown from Army Painter. This is what I was mixing up when I started the stream. So I'm just going to put a couple dots of both of these. Just kind of mix them together. We're going to go ahead and work on this little loincloth cloaky thing on the back of him. And so we're building up the cloak. The final color on that is going to be leather brown because I want it to be all leathery looking. And yeah, so I'm mixing the paint right now in my little palette, and then we'll come over here. We're going to dry brush his back here. So I hope everybody's having a good night. Got your drinks, maybe hanging out, painting something like me. Yeah, I hope y'all are painting stuff too. Alright. So go ahead, dab off a bit of the paint there. And what we're going to do is we're going to just try to do a light dry brush on his cloak here. So just kind of coming down here. I'm just hitting the big folds. That's kind of what we're doing, right? And there we go. So that's the second base there. Next, we're just going to go ahead and take that monster brown, which is a lot lighter. I'm literally just putting a couple dabs on my palette here. Wash off your brush real quick. And we're going to go ahead and dry brush that on too. And we're just building up the cloth on the back up to like a leather look, you know, because I didn't want it to be like super colorful, because I don't know, I just kind of didn't want it to be colorful here on the back. But yeah, we're just kind of gonna hit it, just kind of bring up the shades and make it a lot lighter than what it was. Now I am going to come back and hit these skulls later, the skulls that are up in the corners here. So we do that. Next we're going to take this leather brown. I'm going to mix this a little bit with that monster brown to do a 50-50. And I'm doing this very rapid succession. Because I don't want to really like waste paint, you know. Now for this color, we are going to basically, instead of doing a dry brush, we're going to do more of an edge brushing. Which means I'm just going to take this color and I'm just going to kind of follow the edges, you know. And it's like the top of all the cloak, or any places where the cloth folds over. Just kind of hitting the edge here. So for this model, I'm using various techniques on all sorts of different, you know, parts of it, just to make it interesting, you know. Sorry, let me bring this back down into the frame a little bit more. I'm just trying, kind of lightly hitting it. You guys can hear the scraping a little bit, just kind of getting some of this excess paint off the brush. You know what I mean? And so it makes the folds and stuff stand out a little bit more. And then last but not least, just going to go ahead and take a little bit of leather brown again. Not much. Once again, just kind of hit it. This is kind of like dry brushing over those areas, which just kind of drags the color a little higher up onto it. We're not trying to like completely dry brush it like we did before, but just enough to kind of blend those colors. And that does look probably a little sloppy to you guys, but I think it gives it a really cool messed up look, you know. And so let's go ahead and we're going to do the skulls real fast. Now the skulls, the way that I'm about to do them is exactly how I did the skulls everywhere else on the model. and all the bone and the teeth and everything like that. Where the hell is my skeleton bone? So I'm going to use skeleton bone from Army Painter here. And while I'm shaking this, I'm going to check my messages. I saw a message. Alright, shake this up. So I also need this a little bit for the skulls up here in his shoulder. I forgot to hit those. So we're going to hit those a little bit too. My little rattle ball in here got stuck. I think his head's pretty much done too. Yeah, we're almost down to just the finishing the rusting and then all the smoke effects and the merglings. Alright. So on his back here, we're going to go ahead and hit the skulls. Base coating them up a tad bit. Just hitting up these skulls a tiny bit. There we go. So once these skulls dry, we'll go ahead and wash them up with Seraphim Sepia. So I'm going to let that sit off to the side while he dries for a second. And get down my Seraphim Sepia. Where did I put it? I just literally had it. Alright. So as you guys can see, the head is pretty much done except for the eyes. So let's go ahead and complete the eyes on this guy real fast. And so I thought about what color I want his eyes to be. And I think what I want to do is I want to make them orange. So what we're going to do is it's a 2-color orange combination. It's just going to be a lava orange and then this other orange. Reason why I'm doing orange is it'll just stand out a little bit and break it up, you know. I had thought of doing like white or black or something like that, but I don't know. Orange just sounds, it seems like it would be a good color to go along with all the bright colors, you know, that we're doing. So once we do this part, I need to actually go ahead and get my Lithuanian gray out. What do I want to do? White. Yeah, we're going to do Corax white. Alright. And so I don't need a lot, right? Because we're just literally doing the eyes. So I need my sharpest brush when I do the eyes here. you go. So see, I just like the little bit of orange. I think that's a nice pop. You know what I mean? And so that's literally all we needed from that orange. I'm gonna go ahead and put that away. And then we're gonna use a little bit of lava orange, which is a lot more poppy. I mean, you could like use Rise of Rust if you wanted to. It's a super orange, right? But it is a dry brush, so it's kind of hard to control. But this lava orange it's super neon. Which I love about it. As you guys can see, it's just very orange, right? And so I don't need much because this is actually going to be like basically his pupils. Actually, I need to see if I got a thinner brush. So I always have an issue where I'll put a little bit too much when I'm trying to do pupils, especially because his eyes are so teeny. You could like I could technically come in here with like a toothpick and do it, but I don't have one on hand, so that'll be fine. Alright. So I need a little bit more than that. And there we go. So it's just 2 different colors of orange on his head, and he's done. So the head is complete. We can go ahead and set this off to the side. Boop. And now I'm done with orange. Putting that away. Alright. So we have worked up the cloak. The cloak should be dry now, so we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to hit up the skulls here with a little bit of Seraphim Sepia. That way that can get drying while we work on rusting these weapons. Hey, thanks, buddy. How you doing tonight? I saw you guys talking on the Discord. But just kind of coming in here, we're going to hit up the skulls with Seraphim Sepia real quick. And we'll set it off to the side to let it dry up a little bit. Boom. Oh, you have the SAT tomorrow. Well, good luck, man. Good luck, good luck. That is a big test. I took the ACT. No, I get it. I get it. Yeah, you got to relax a little bit the night before something like that. There's no sense in stressing and cramming. It's not going to do you any good. Because if you're not prepared by now, you won't be prepared. I'm an instructor, so I don't know if Jake told you much about me, but I'm an instructor for the military, so we learn a lot about instructional methodology and how to teach people stuff to learn. So, but yeah, definitely, you definitely need to take a break, relax, cool your jets. So at this point, we've so I start the rusting process by doing a base silver. Go through, I water down some nihilic oxide here, so that way you guys can see like the little bits of blue on the blade occasionally. And so then I used a watered down version of dry rust right here. And so normally what I would do is water this down and then I would do this, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a quick dry brush of Rise of Rust over this and just kind of see what it looks like when we're done. And so I'm making a conscious effort to avoid any of the places that I did the blue on. because I don't want to take away from that, you know. And I also like the grainy look, so I am trying to make it a little grainy in certain parts. Yeah, definitely, man. Just hang out, relax, paint some models. But yeah, I wish you all the best of the luck, though. Hope you get a good score. Alright, so what we're going to do, so like I said, we're just going to kind of do it on the sides here a bit. Alright. And so that gives us that nice bright rusted look on there. And there we go. So we're going to go ahead and do that to the skulls here on the flail. So make sure you try to dab some off, because if it's too bright, it detracts, I feel like, a little bit. It will mute itself a little bit once it dries, you know. It does dry a little bit darker. It doesn't stay as bright, but yeah, we're just going to kind of come in here. We're going to hit all these middle bits. Get down there, hit that chain some more. So like I said, I want it to be super, super rusty. So, come over here to the bell. We're going to do the same thing. Now I am gonna do a watered down version of this too, so I wanna add some more rust to the. Like I want these to literally look like they're gonna fall apart when he goes to swing, you know, the weapon. So yeah, I'll do a bit of watered down rise of rust after we get through the dry brush. Let's come back over here to the last blade. And obviously I need to be very careful that I don't get it on his hand or nothing, because otherwise I'm going to have these bright orange splotches on his green hand, which would not be good. Alright. So the next part. Oh, what'd you say? Did I read the Dark Imperium book with the gray and clean one? No, I have not actually. I actually have not read any of the lore in the actual for any of the 8th edition codexes or anything. I haven't actually popped them open or read the lore in them. I probably should one day. Once I started this YouTube channel, like literally all my spare time when I'm not playing games or talking to the wife or playing video games or doing other stuff is spent playing or painting or doing a video. So yeah, I haven't had much time to do that sort of stuff, sadly. I'm hoping I can get more into like the reading the lore and stuff. Once I catch up more, you know. So what I do is I water down Rise of Rust, pretty watery. You don't want it to be like a paste. You want it to be like super watery. Like if I dab it on there, it should just look like, you know, bright water. And what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of come around sporadically. Now it's going to look really bright when you're putting it on, but it's going to dry very opaque. And if you think that it's still a little too thick, then you can add a little bit more water to it. So it should like run into the blade and stuff, kind of like that. Alright, let's set that off to the side. And this is just, yet again, it's just another version of layering. Like, a lot of the stuff I've done for this Great Unclean one has just been layers. Like, you just keep layering stuff on until it looks the way that you want it to look. Whether it be a color or an effect. Down, so we're just going to kind of add it down in the bell here. Like I said, I literally want it to look like it's going to fall apart as he swings this thing, because it's so rusted. Like, add a bit more here. So my wet palette still dries up pretty often. Damn, wet palettes not doing what wet palettes supposed to do. I'm just kind of, like I said, you want to be very messy with it. Like, it's rust, man. It's not supposed to be like very clean and diligent, you know. Now I did overdo it a little bit here, so what I'm going to do is add a little bit of water to this to kind of like spread it out some before it dries. I kind of got a little too much on here, I feel like. I'm just going to set that off to the side. And it will dry within a reasonable amount of time, and I can show you guys kind of the finished product of what it looks like. So this is just a great overall rust effect. I use it a lot. Use it a whole lot because I like very rusted things. Kind of getting in there. And we're also going to use this on his back clothy area too, so alright, set that off to the side. And then last but not least, back here on his back little clothy area. I also forgot to dry brush this area, so we'll have to do that too. But come down in here. There we go. And we're just going to let that dry. So I still need this to go back over that back cloth area. So I'm just going to leave that there. But we'll let that stuff dry. And that means it's time to highlight those skulls that I just did. So to highlight skulls, all I need is a little bit of the skull white, which looks like it dried up. Okay, I got a little bit here. Just need a little bit of that skull white that we actually started off with the skulls here. Just gonna dab off some, and we're just basically just going to hit it around the faceplate a bit, just to kind of brighten it up some. Now normally when I do these I use a Tyrant Skull, but I don't want to try to dry brush these, you know, and get it all over the flesh and stuff that I finished, so I'm just going to kind of do this quick highlight like that. So there you guys go. So you can see that the skulls are all highlighted in there now. Just brings out the details a little bit. Alright, so we've got the skulls done. We've done the rusted effects, which I'm waiting on. So yeah, I can kind of show you guys. So this is kind of what it looks like once it actually dries. You guys can see how rusted it looks, you know? And so, yeah, it still needs to dry a little bit, but... Alright, so that blade is done. Yet again, it's going to dry up, and that's going to be done. That fist is done. The sword, so the sword I went a little overboard here on the bottom, so it's a little too bright for me, but hopefully it dulls down a little bit once it dries. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start working on the flail here with the smoke in the back. And so when I do my smoke and whatever, I always start out with a base of Corax white or off-white. Uthwian gray is good too. There's quite a few colors that are actually very good for doing this. And the reason why is that I like to do the Hexwraith Flame, or I like to do the, what's the other one? The blue one. Where the hell is it? Ah! I lost my blue one. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Way over here. Okay. Or the Nighthawk Gloom. So I'm probably going to do Nighthawk Gloom just because I haven't been using a lot of it. As you guys can see, I use a lot of Hexwraith Flame. It's actually like almost empty. So yeah, we're going to do Nighthawk Gloom tonight. Just to do something different. Also, I think blue would look nice as a good off color instead of just doing green, you know. Alright, so you want a good amount of white on your palette when you do this. And so because this is mostly done, we need to be very diligent that we do not get the white on things that we don't want white on, right? And so I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to sloppily base coat the flames. And so it's still drying some. You guys can see some of the wet rises rust. So I'm just going to come in here. Now I do recommend that you water it down a little bit, and the reason why I say that is what ends up happening is you don't want it to be a pure color. And the reason why I say that is you want a little bit of tonal variation when you guys put the stuff on. Sorry, I got some white on my knuckle. I gotta wipe it off. And so what I mean by that is you guys can see, you know, this is not pure white. You can see a little bit of the black peeking through. And what's going to happen is when we put this on here, you know, it's going to fill in all the cracks and stuff and make it super dark. But that black is going to peer through at some points too, which will give you even more variation in the way that it looks. And so usually a lot of people simulate this by what they'll do is they'll paint something white and then put like they'll dry brush Uthman Gray over it before they add like a contrast or another color. And that'll give you that tonal variation. Another example of it is Zenthal highlights, if you've ever heard of that, where somebody will use Zenthal, the color, to highlight an entire model before they paint it. And what it does is it gives it a tonal variation, you know. I don't know what they call it. I call it tonal variation just because it's like varying tones of the same color, you know. That's my term for it. It might not be right. It could be called something completely different. But yeah, so we're just going to go through. We're going to hit all these flames real quick with the white, and then we got to let them dry. So the goal for tonight is, before I get off the stream, I would like to have this guy down to just the Nurglings. So if I can get it to the point where I just got to finish the Nurglings tomorrow, I will be super happy. Because then I have to paint lots and lots of Nurglings. I also have to build some Nurglings. And I also got to paint a Chaos Lord for my Death Guard for my next tournament list that I'm going to be trying out. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works. I'm going in without any playtest games. Which is never a good idea, but screw it. YOLO, man. YOLO. Alright, so while those dry right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start hitting up these Nurglings. And so the Nurglings, I am going to wash paint these just to kind of keep it easy. So I'm going to go ahead and I want them white for the color that I'm going to make them. So I'm just going to come in here with my white, and I got to be very careful I don't get it on the skin of the Great Unclean One. You know what, guys? I might even be able to get this done tonight on stream as long as I'm going like this, you know? I don't know. Honestly, Nurglings have always been pretty good in the game. And I think it's because they make them really annoying, and that's really what they're good at, you know. They're just good at being very annoying. So it just really depends on the mission format, you know. I will say in 5th edition, you never really saw Nurglings. Nurglings were a very niche unit. 8th, the main reason you saw them was they were just a very efficient troops unit, and they could still hold objectives. So like, if they took Nurglings away and made them like a fast attack or something, then I would argue that you wouldn't see them anymore. You might see a few of them, but because they are a troop unit, Nurglings are just very good at doing stuff, you know. So I'm making sure that I do not get this white on his skin. But I mean, Plague Bearers had their time in the sun. So did Bloodletters. But yeah, a lot of the other demon units kind of need a little bit of help. Some of them are pretty poopy. Alright, so once that dries, I need to actually hit him with the second coat of white. Oh yeah, I know you know. I know Jake uses them a lot. But yeah, they're just annoying. I mean, that's all. That's all they do. But they can pack a punch if you have the right combination of buffs and units and Stuff like that, they can hit relatively hard. You have 3 damage Nurglings running away around, which is pretty funny. They'll take down a Marine or 2 here or there. So with these Nurglings, I do have to hit them twice with the white because I need these to be kind of solid. I am going to wash paint these. Which, if you've never heard of that term, it's just basically the same thing as contrast. But just using washes instead of using contrast, you know. So I did get a bit of white on the skin over there. Oopsie. And we're going to come up here. Hey, what up, Josh? Yeah, it happens, man. Corn demons are pretty good, but yeah, they're definitely a option where you got to mix them with something else to make them like really work, you know? Like a pure corn demons army is rough, but you can make a pure corn army work. I mean, like you go into world eaters and hell, you could do some corn alpha legion units. Though I'm more partial to world eaters. World eaters are badasses. But I mean, with a lot of things, like you kind of mold and adapt, you know, to the situation. I mean, I only play Chaos now after getting rid of the Tyranids. But I'll just kind of shift and mold my lists to match what's going on around me, you know? So whether it be I play one army, you know, but yeah, I'm just kind of, right now I'm in the experimental phase. Even though I won that RTT with the Zinch list, I definitely saw some flaws in it, but I couldn't make a list that I was happy with after tweaking it, and I really don't want to take what I had because the flaws were super obvious once I realized them. So I really want to... I'm really down for trying out this Nurgle list. Shout out to TJ Lanigan for inspiring this. But also Nurgle's my boy. And it gives me a reason to paint this Great Unclean One. Hence why I'm painting this guy. So I gotta paint him. I gotta paint 12 Nurglings, I think. Something like that. 12 Nurgling bases. Alright. So I gotta let the Nurglings dry real quick. So while the Nurglings dry, so if this is one of your few times, I always move between painting different things. So tone down their list. Nah, brah, that won't ever happen. That will not ever happen. Unless they brought back comp scores, which I don't want them to ever bring that back. So What they used to do in order to make people tone their list down was they would have comp scores, which meant that the composition of your list had to match these criteria. Otherwise, you got penalized. So, for example, if you brought 3 of a unit, usually you would get penalized via points. Didn't stop people. 100% didn't stop people. But, yeah, it's not a good solution, right? Alright, so now we're going to do this Night Haunt Gloom here. So this stuff is stuff that you just, it's just like contrast in a way. Let me just slap it right on the flames here. Kind of dragging it down into those flames some. We're going to hit up all these flames here real quick. Now you can leave this stuff by itself. I will say the result is a little lackluster. The Hexawraith Flame is definitely better overall than the Night Haunt Gloom. But we are going to make this pop when it's done drying. So once I slap this on, I'm going to grab my highlight colors that we're going to use for this. Sorry, I could see the chat scroll, but I'm trying to focus on putting the Night Haunt Gloom. So there you guys go. You guys can see it's in there. And we're going to set it off to the side and let it dry for a second. I want to flip it upside down, though. That way the thing's not sitting out. You want to play World Eaters, but you don't like the old Berserker sculpts. Yeah, a lot of people, that's kind of their hang-up. But honestly, I've grown to like them. So... Also, they're really cheap for how many you can get, especially if you can get them in the second-hand market. So I don't know. I overlooked the crappiness of the sculpts for the fact that I could get so many for so cheap, right? Which, you know, because I run so many different armies here on the channel, sometimes it's you want to, you know, cost savings. Cost savings is a little better than the way stuff looks sometimes. Just so that way I can get it on the table and play with it. But, yeah, though, I've actually grown fond of them. You know, if you put a little bit of TLC into them, you know, either do some bit swaps or, you know, a lot of people make them out of the Blood Warriors. They don't look too bad. And so we're hitting up the Nurglings with the second coat of white. But yeah, I mean, if you're one of those people that your army has to be aesthetically amazing, yeah, you might want to skip them until they come out with new ones. Or you can buy some Forge World ones or put a lot of work into doing the Blood Warrior ones. The only reason I didn't do the Blood Warrior ones is it ends up being like way more expensive converting those guys. Because you got to buy like bits for the backpacks, for, you know, Space Marine backpacks. And then you have the axes and stuff. A lot of people end up like buying Space Marine legs, so that way they have like Marine legs. They look cool though, but yeah. Yet again, cost savings. But I don't disagree. We also need new Noise Marines. That I hope we see sooner than Corn Berserkers, because at least Corn Berserkers are in plastic, right? But I'm hoping we see both this year. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, we are going to get this done tonight on stream. I feel confident that I can finish this guy out tonight. Sleep be damned. Alright, so we've base coated the white on all 3 Nurglings here. What I'm going to go ahead and do, so I need to base coat the flames white as well to get the Hexwraith flame on them, but I also need to do it's hard to see when there's no lights on in this room. There it is. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and that's funny. Just let them bring harpies, whatever. You'll win. You just table the rest of the stuff. And then the harpies will just keep shooting you, but ain't shit they can do about it, right? So I'm going ahead, throwing some lead belcher on this, the little thingy that this Nurgling is holding. I can never, like, brazier. There you go, that's what it is. It's like a Nurgle brazier. Letting out all of its putrid smoke. So I gotta be very careful that I don't get this on the skin. The skin is the one thing I'm most petrified of messing up. Alright, and we'll just let him dry real quick. Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, like if you really want to make good berserkers, you can, but yeah, you're gonna be paying an arm and a leg to do it. All right, so right now I am waiting on things to dry. So I got a couple minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and go grab some water real fast while. So we're waiting on the flames to dry. We're waiting on the Nurglings here to dry and the bells. So I'm going to go grab some water real quick, guys, and I will be right back. So the next step is I'm going to show you guys how to highlight the flames on the flail here. I'm going to show you how I highlight the flames and make them pop a lot more. I do need 99 Haunt Gloom still. And then we've already done the rust, so let me go ahead and move that out of the way. We've done all the brown. Let me get those out of the way. So for those of you just tuning in, I'm about to take a quick break to grab some water, and then I'll be right back. Basically, just here's kind of where we're at with the Great Unclean One. I know it's real close. So we're working on the Nurglings now. I got to finish up the... Oh, crap. I do need the Rise of Rust. We got to finish up the cloak here on the back. Oh, hi, baby. Are they beneficial, or do they... What do you mean, baby? Oh, the metallics on this guy? Yeah, so I used metallics on the swords and stuff, but then I rusted them up. So, I mean, this guy doesn't really have... He's got some metal on this little Nurgling here. But yeah, let me go get some water real quick, and then I will be right back to finish this guy. Yeah. Be back in like 2 minutes. returned. Oh, got more water. Alright. So yeah, at this point, we are still not ready to highlight the flames because they're still drying. The only crappy part about the flame technicals is they do take a little while to dry, which kind of sucks because when I use acrylics, it's part of why I use acrylics, because they dry so fast. Alright. So, man, a lot of it's still drying. Why? Slow in progress, yo. Slow in progress. Alright, yeah, let's come around to the back here on his little cloth in the back. And we're going to finish rusting this up. Metallic paints are so much fun. They are. So Adriana, that's my wife, and she'll tell you, I love metallic paints. But yeah, sometimes you gotta throttle it back a little bit. Too much metallic can be too much metallic. Yeah, wifey, you do like the metallic paints. You like shiny things. Alright, so I'm just going to take a little bit of Rise of Rust and just kind of lightly brush it on the back here. No such thing as too much metallics. Just some things don't look good with the metallics on them. I don't know. Like those doggos that I paint for you. Like some of them I can't do metallics on them. I know how much you love the metallics, but alright, and there we go. We got a little bit more rust on the little cloth on the back there. So I should be good to go ahead and touch these guys. Like the white is a little tacky, but I should be alright. Alright, so I'm going to do my Lazy Nurgling paint. Woo! I love Lazy Nurglings. Where's it at? Where's it at? Sorry, I'm trying to find the color. That's not it. That's not it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. It's hiding on me. Ha! They're supposed to be magic D&D doggo. Well, I mean, they are magic D&D doggos. So this is how I always do my Lazy Nurglings for you guys. So it's Bealtan Green. This stuff is amazing. I love this stuff. And so it gives a nice green for Nurglings, I think. And once again, the reason why I call it Lazy Nurglings is just because it's minimal effort. Maximum result, minimum effort. Sorry, I got the wrong brush. Alright. Let's get a long brush in here. So what we do is we're just going to slop on this Bealtan green all over these Nurglings. And we're not gonna be gentle about it. We're gonna get all the Bealtan green. Sometimes I do 2 coats depending on how I'm feeling. And so this is an example of what is called wash painting. And so what wash painting is it's literally just using a wash to paint something that's a very mild base color. So it could be like gray, it could be white. Can't do black. But once it dries up, he's going to be this nice light green. He's going to be being squished by the fatty here. And so it looks like it's going to be a little muted, so I'm probably going to go over these guys a couple times. But luckily, GW washes dry pretty fast. And so the white on this top one didn't dry up all the way yet. So this might be where I might have to call it tonight if the paints don't want to cooperate and dry in a timely manner. Sorry guys, I know you can't really see that. Trying to get it on this Nurgling without getting it on the skin of the Great Unclean One. But man, I am loving painting this guy. He's so much fun. As a matter of fact, I've had a lot of fun with all the greater demons, so I imagine the Bloodthirster I'm going to have just as much fun painting. Alright, we're going to come down here on his other Nurgling. I think my wifey left. Bye, wifey. Alright, so just coming up here, finishing up the Nurglings. And then while the Nurglings dry, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint the white on his flame too. Oh, nice. Yeah, if you're on our Discord, share it up, man. I like seeing other people's greater demons. They're my favorite things to look at as far as models go. There's just so many different ways to paint them. So you guys can see this is a good example of how the wash painting ends up working. So it just brings out all the details. It's nice and easy, right? And so those guys are going to just go ahead and dry up real quick. I do need to... I'm going to hit up the flames real quick in his hand with this white. I almost regret putting these Nurglings on him. I could have chosen not to, but meh. Is what it is, right? So let's get more white. Oh, you don't have the Discord? Like you don't have Discord or the Discord? Like as in you need a link to it. I can send you a link if you need one. Or if you go to any of my videos, you will find a link to it if you like Discord. Okay, yeah, just grab it from any videos and join up, man. Come say hi, share your models. talk with other chaos peoples. Alright. So just getting all the white on this flame right now. Cool. And so we're just going to let that dry right there. And move over to... Hopefully the flames are mostly dry now. Alright, let's see. Okay, yeah, the flames are mostly dry now. So as you guys can see, when you guys use the Night Haunt Gloom, you know, it's very unimpressive, right? It dries very, I don't know. It's like there's no variation in here. Like it's all one color. So it's good for, like you can see down here on this other flame, it's got like a few different tones in there. But usually it's pretty muted. So what we do is, so unlike Hexwraith Flame, right? Hexwraith Flame is one of those colors that you can put on, and it actually looks very nice just by itself. I still highlight it. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some Lothran Blue here. And we're going to take a stiff brush. We don't need much, so I'm not even going to use my palette. We're going to go ahead and dry it off some. So we turn into a dry brush, right? There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to hit the flames. Basically just dry brush it to try to hit those raised areas. Come down to this other part right here, same thing. Now another way to do this is you can do multiple coats of the flame color, and it will darken up certain areas. But as you guys can see, it's making it pop a little bit more. Still not poppy enough though. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this blue and a smidgen of white, mix it up. That way we have like a sky blue now. You guys can see how much lighter of a blue it is. And once again, we're going to come in here and hit up the edges, but be a little bit more splotchy, you know. Meaning I'm not going to hit all the edges, I'm just going to hit it occasionally. Because flames are not usually like pretty, they have a lot of tones in it. You guys can see now it's starting to look more like an actual flame. And then the last step is take a little bit of white. I'm not even going to clean off the brush at this point. Just kind of hit the flame along it. And there we go. So now we got these nice blue flames coming off the back here. You guys can see off the back here, and it's not as it just brings it out, right? It's good to just kind of get that base color on the Night Haunt Gloom, but it just brings it up quite a bit if you guys go ahead and highlight it. So same thing, like when I do Hexwraith Flame, I still highlight it like a couple colors just to kind of make it stand out more, you know. But, oh, let's see. You've only put the first layer of corn red on. So yeah, here, while this is drying, I'll show off a couple other models that I've painted lately. Move these off to the side. I don't need the rust anymore. Finish that. So yeah, I mean, here's my Bloodthirster that I've been working on. And so he's just got his skin done, you know. So this was like 7 different shades, or not 7. It was like 3 or 4 different shades of red with a contrast red over it, and then more red on top of that. So it's got a nice, I think, a nice gradient tone to it. It's definitely got a lot of different red shades in here. So I think that he turned out pretty nice so far. So that's something I'm working on. Did I even bring out my Chaos Sword that I gotta paint? I don't think I have. I also painted my Ghost rubrics. So if you guys saw a few battle reports, and then also my tournament battle report with the rubric Marines. So this is the Scarab Occult Terminator version of those guys. So I was working on the Sorcerer for another list, and then decided to go ahead and start painting the Great and Clean one. So these guys got put on hold. I also started painting the Exalted Sorcerers too, so I got their purple on at least. I literally have models everywhere that I'm painting. Here's a few of the Nurglings that I'm working on. So, ooh. It might be good to start painting these guys while I'm waiting on that drying. You know what? I'm going to bring these down. Yeah, we'll start working on these a little bit. Yeah. Because I at least got the rocks partially done, so I'll work on those a little bit. What else have I been working on? Yeah, that's about it. I mean, all the other stuff that I've been painting, I've kind of put off to the side in lieu of projects that I got to work on. So, yeah, let's go ahead and put some washes on these Nurglings. So these Nurglings, let me verify real quick that I haven't done any lazy Nurglings as far as my units go. Let's take a look real fast. So you guys can see I didn't do any lazy Nurglings so far. So we've got the neon green ones. I got some normal ones. We got some right there. So it looks like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 13 of them painted in here. So these are going to be all lazy Nurglings too. Yeah. Turn off the light. Alright. More lazy Nurglings. I do. I have a lot more Nurglings that I got to paint. Oh, that is very true. I'm one of those people that I have to paint, like, everything all at once. So, hey, thanks so much for tuning in, man. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Oh, crap. I put the wrong wash on this. Boop. Put that wash away. Alright. So, for these lazy Nurglings, we're going to go ahead and start by washing their bases. So these are the cork rocks that I did for some. Because this unit was very lazy. I just kind of slapped them on bases. Just to get them tabletop ready, you know. But I've got to paint another 6 bases on top of these guys, so go ahead and do the Nuln Oil on the rocks real quick. And the reason why we're doing this is I'm waiting on the Great and Clean Ones Nurglings to dry. So, like I said, I always have multiple models nearby to paint. And the reason for that is that, you know, when you've got the mojo, when you've got the paint bug, you got to keep painting, you know? You gotta knock stuff out while you still have motivation to knock stuff out. But yeah, you're very right, Joshua. Like, eventually everything will get done, but yeah, I've got so much stuff that's not done, it's not even funny. Like, I really want to finish my World Eaters, but yeah, those are definitely on hold right now. Maybe I'll get around to finishing those guys here after I do all this Nurgle stuff. And I gotta finish the Bloodthirster. But good thing is, you know, with tournaments being turned back on, at least here in North Carolina, gives me a reason to paint stuff. So that is my motivation. And so I'm not really going to be playing games for the next few weeks while I'm getting stuff painted. I had another tournament lined up, but yeah, I need the time to paint and do non-Warhammer stuff. So this weekend I'm probably going to play. I bought that new Mario, the Mario All-Stars 3D collection. If my wife's not playing it, I intend to play that this weekend. So she's been playing Mario Galaxy on it, and we bought it on Switch. You know, well, obviously, but if you buy it on a console with a shared account, you can't play it on both consoles at the same time. So I gotta wait till she's not playing it, and then I can play it, and vice versa. All right. And so I've got all the Nolan oil on the rocks. So let's go ahead and do the lazy part of the Nurglings, which is the wonderful Bealtan green. Now I do have a few parts on here that need to be metal, like this bolter here and that night mask that one of them's standing in, but we'll get to those here now. Probably tomorrow or later this week. So I gotta build more Nurglings. I gotta paint up Chaos Lord for Death Guard. So I gotta give Failer a shout out when I actually do paint it. But you guys can see, you know, this is showing up that wash painting a lot better. But you can do really late, like this is how I did most of my Poxwalkers too. Because I literally just slapped washes on them, and this was when I just first started painting, you know, and I thought, oh man, this is amazing, I'm such a good painter. It is a good way to get a good effect real fast on like monotonous models. So I mean, you could do this for Plague Bearers or Poxwalkers, like I said. But right now it's just, you know, haven't done this yet with these Nurglings, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it with this unit of 5. So I always try to paint like 5 in a unit all the same, if possible. Just so that way I can go up to 5 man, and then like when you go up to an 8 or whatever man, then I have to mix and match the squads, but that adds a little bit of character to them though, because then they're fun. Different colors and different themes and whatever. So this one doesn't have any rocks, so I can get all in there. Using all this wash. Yeah. Well, I hope the Great Unclean one dries in time, man. I might just have to call it because paint's drying. And not everybody wants to watch paint dry, you know? Boom. There we go. Getting these nurglings done. This is also a good way to do Gretchen if you're an orc player. If you got a buddy who's an orc player, has lots of Gretchen to do. This is a very similar color to what a Gretchen skin would be. I mean, really you could do orcs too, but I think orcs would be a little bit darker. You could do camo shade for orcs, I guess. But just slapping this all over him, man. But yeah, we're almost in the Great Unclean one, like really. Can probably actually start working on his base here in a minute. Looking at him. So I'm gonna go ahead and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna slap the Nighthawk Gloom on the Nurgling's Flames here. I wanna maintain, you know, with the blue. That's funny. Well, yeah, if that's the point of the model, man, you just show it to. Yeah, I'll show my wife stuff, and she's like, "That's disgusting," and it's like, "Yep, that's kind of the point. Like, you don't paint a Nurgle model to be not disgusting." She really likes Tzeentch models because they're very colorful, or at least how I paint them anyway. Alright. There we go. Slap that on there real quick so that way that can dry off to the side real quick. And we'll go back to painting these Nurglings real fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and set these guys off to the side over there. Kind of get through. So this is just to get through them real quick, you know. I mean, technically I only need a 3-color minimum for them to be playable at a tournament, but I am aiming at possibly going for best painted again, so I'd like to get best painted again, actually. So what we'll do is we're gonna go for best painted again. I ain't gonna make it possible. We're gonna go for it. Gonna do it, guys. We're gonna go for best painted again. Hey, what up, transplants? I'm doing, man. How you doing? Just working on the Great Unclean one again. He's drying. So right now, just tossing some green on some Nurglings real fast to kind of fill the time and the void instead of watching paint dry, you know. How are you doing tonight? What Josh will say. Oh, thank you, man. You were kit bashing a Demon Prince body with a pink horror's head. Yeah, I mean, it would look... I don't know. I think that head might be a little too small, though. I don't know. You never know. Try it. Try it and see. But thanks, Transplants. I appreciate it, man. I just figured I might as well do these, you know. It fill up a little bit of time. Well, it's mostly to keep me motivated to get this stuff painted, you know. So those Nurglings are painted. And then do these ones. And so just like my lazy rubrics, these are my lazy Nurglings. It's just a way to get something quickly painted to a good standard. Because I'm still going to go through, you know, you're going to hit up the eyes for the Nurglings and all that stuff. It's not just like you leave them. But this is a good way just to get a majority of the model painted, you know, all the skin done. And if it doesn't turn out, like if it's not dark enough for me, I'll just hit them again with the Beal Tan and it'll just darken it up. But usually one coat of Beal Tan is good. Because it kind of gives them almost like a translucent green look. Hopefully they'll dry up and I can show you guys kind of what they look like. Yeah, I mean, you'll buy more and more. One thing I've found is, so I'll build a lot of stuff all at once, and then go get it primed, you know? At least prime it, whatever your black or white or whatever your base color is going to be. Just so that way, you know, when you see it, you're like, okay, cool, I can throw some paint on that, you know? Because when you're looking at a shelf of gray, it's just, it's kind of depressing. But if you look at a shelf of white and black models, then it makes it a little bit more bearable, you know? Like, oh, okay, well, I'll just grab this guy and throw some paint on him or whatever. But yeah, right now I'm in tournament mojo mode, so it's like, all right, what do I got to get painted? What do I got built? Because I got to build a bunch of Nurgling bases. Got to build another 6 Nurglings. I know Snur from the Discord, he's going to send me a bunch of Nurglings that he has sitting in a bucket. So that'll be nice. I just got to check to see if I have enough 40mm bases to accommodate. I might have to get with my roommate to have him make me some more bases. Alright, there we go. So nice and quick Nurglings, right? Bam! Let those guys dry over there. Alright, back to the Great Unclean One. So for the most part, these Nurglings have dried. But they're not dark enough for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit them again with the Beal Tan Green. And this is just to darken them up a little bit in the crevices and stuff. And just get them to that level that I want them to be at. And the neat thing is too, like when you do something like this, these are going to stand out against my Great and Clean One, right? You guys can see that Nurgling does not blend in to his skin, which is great. So you can paint green on green and it doesn't look the same, you know? Alright. This guy I need to... So this top nurgling here, he's not dried enough. Like the white is still wet. Which really sucks, because that means... Alright. I hope this top nurgling doesn't end up getting ruined because of this. Alright. So I'm just going to let the top nurgling dry up some more. I'm kind of just drawing some of this extra wet paint off of him real fast. That way, hopefully, I can toss another coat of Beal-Tan green on him. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the chain with Nuln Oil real fast. So Celeste is very, very good. I don't know about Chaos Undivided. I've seen it in many mixed Slanesh lists. So yeah, as far as like whether it needs to be mono or not, yeah, I mean, he's just a really good model. Like he hits like a damn truck when he gets across the field. So. Best thing, just toss them in a list and see what happens, you know? Alright, so we're waiting for the nurglings to dry. This bottom nurgling right here, I know that he's not completely dry, but we're going to go ahead and start on the base of the Great Unclean One. So, I will already advise everybody out there, I've said it time and time again, buy Vallejo textures. These are so good. And so we're going to try to use the rest of my Dark Earth texture tonight to base this guy up. Yeah, I should have enough in here. It's a sad day when I run out of this stuff. So I'm going to have to go buy some more. I'm going to go ahead and use a flat brush to go ahead and just kind of slop this on here. Now the reason why I'm going to go ahead and do the base now is that really at this point it's just finishing up these nurglings, and then I have the Nurgle's Rot effects on here. Yeah, man, pick some up. Pick it up on Amazon. I think I bought this stuff on Amazon. But I've got Dark Earth is my favorite. My other one I have down here is basically the same texture. It's just a lighter color. Ah, gotcha. So you just mix it with whatever color you want. Yeah, I love this stuff. Like, this stuff's gold. It's so thick too. Like, it's like a paste. You can see, you know. But it just goes on very nice. I'm trying to tuck it under the fat folds here, the guy. And then with this nurgling here, so I'm just kind of piling it up around the nurgling here. Like he got squished into the ground. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, this stuff is amazing, dude. Like, and it's so cheap because it's like $13 for a jar of it, and it covers so many bases. Like, I'm done with GW paint as far as the textures go, because they're just way overcosted. You only get like 5 models out of it too before you run out. But yeah, I do. I advise this, and I bought this initially for a for my basing project when I did. I actually like like Citadel normal paints. I use quite a few of them. I do prefer Army Painter just because of the bottle, but some of the colors for GW and just kind of the way it goes on, I like it. I mean, most of this was painted with GW paints. But no, I definitely agree. The biggest thing for me is they're kind of overcosted for what you get, you know, especially the volume that you get it in. But I'm also a creature of habit, so like when I try not to mess with things that I know too much, you know. Alright. Let's see if I can get all this in here on the base. Oh man, that's terrible. The bottles that they come in are definitely crappy. I hate the weird flip cap bottles. Now, cool thing is, and I'll show you something here in a minute once I get this basing paint on this guy. A company out there is actually making dropper bottles for GW paints, basically converting the GW paints into dropper bottles. And I'll show that to you here in a second. I didn't even know about this. My roommate actually, he had bought some of them on a Kickstarter, and gave me like their card and stuff. And he gave me a few of them. He's like, "Here, try these out." So I haven't gotten a chance to use them yet, but it's a pretty cool idea and design. But yeah, they definitely dry up. That's part of why I like GW paints, though, is because they do dry so fast that I can work a model very quickly, which is part of why I like them, you know. But yeah, I mean, Army Painter dries just as fast, honestly. Getting this all tucked down under his feet and everything. Oh, gotcha. I don't know. I haven't heard good things about Vallejo actual paints, though. A lot of guys tell me they're not very good, but I haven't actually bought a normal Vallejo paint. But man, I swear by their basing paints, though. 100%. I will never buy another basing paint manufacturer again. Cool. So the Great Unclean One is now burst, as you guys can see. Ooh. Go ahead and set him down and let him dry up some. So yeah, so this is what it is. It's like a little dropper bottle here, and so like you can treat it as a normal paint now. And so the way it works is like you pull this little dealy bob off, and this is rubber. So you can squeeze it and get the drops out of your GW paints. And so it's pretty cool. He gave me a bunch of these to try them out, and I'm gonna see how they work. So yeah, and it even comes with like little pearl balls that you put in there to turn them into shaker bottles and everything. So so yeah, here I'll show you the so it's the drop top. So drop top or drtabletop.com. They sell these. So they're really, really cool. Like, I'm looking forward to actually trying it out. He gave me like 5 of them to try out. So, but yeah, check them out. Let me know what you think. Obviously, they're not a sponsor or anything. It's just my roommate gave me them. So, yeah, I've got a lot. I've got a whole lot of paints lying around here. Whole lot of paints, man. The problem with GW paints is the lids don't go on properly, so you have to be very diligent. I've had that happen. I lost a typhus corrosion and a Nurgle's rot because of it. So, I mean, I get it, man. I get it. Alright. So right now we are waiting on a lot of drying things. So I think what we're going to do, we're not going to call it quite yet, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys a special technique passed down to me from many generations. Actually, this is just something I picked up randomly. I got enough of this to use it again. So what you need to do this is you need a small glue gun. Yeah. Go ahead and reach around this. And make sure. Yeah. Stupid models are knocking over. Yeah. Alright. So, I'm going to show you guys your last plague drone. Yeah, they take a little bit to put together. I got 9 of them. I just wish they were usable. Alright, so what I need for this is, I'll use this file for this. Alright, so like I said, special technique. And it looks like you're the only one that's going to get to see this, transplants. Sorry, waiting for this thing to heat up. Alright. Come on, man. So what we're going to do with this. I need to be very cautious with this. As I throw my glue thing. Hey, sorry, I gotta focus on this. Ow, a little bit. This glue gun, this thing keeps falling out of it some. Alright. That's good. Going around pulling this stuff off. So the neat thing is, if you go through and you do like some hot glue, right? So we just did some hot glue over a few areas here. The paint's not dry all the way. Yeah. You can see the oozing in here. So the cool thing is, and I'll show you that here in a second. I need to correct up here at the front, actually. So this one got kind of messed up, so I'm going to have to redo the front here. Because it wasn't all the way hot when I started doing it. So the neat thing is you can just fix this if you mess it up, kind of like how I'm doing right now. I'm just going to go ahead over this front again. Alright. Go ahead and unhook that. Sorry, let me grab my old clippers real fast. There it is. I'll just kind of show you real fast what we're going to do. Yes, I will be. Hence why I'm painting this guy up right now. So I can play with him. So you can see, you know, it kind of creates this ooze between his teeth and stuff. So let me go ahead and pick this up real fast. So what we'll do is we're going to let that dry for a couple minutes here. And I'll show you a really cool effect that I've kind of learned. Nah, well, I mean, he will eventually with the new codex, but he's not OP by any means. Like, he's hard to kill, but that's about it. Like, he won't win a game by himself. Yeah, because his damage output, he's annoying to fight for a lot of people, you know. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take Nurgle's Rot. Oh, it looks like I bumped the camera when I'm... He does a little bit of damage, but yeah, his damage output is very subpar, especially for 300-point models. So all he's got going for him is the fact that he lives forever. So I mean, over the game, he will do some damage, but yeah, he's definitely not a damage-dealing unit by any means. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this Nurgle's Rot. I'm just going to kind of hit it on some of the tentacles, you know, around the edges of some of these wounds. And then anywhere I put the hot glue, what I'm going to do is it becomes like basically like an area that we can put it over, and it makes it look like it's oozing over the cut, you know, like that. And when it dries, it's going to dry like kind of clear. And these little strings and stuff are going to look like snot strings. And basically I'm just going to kind of come into various cuts and stuff. Just put a little bit of this Nurgle's Rot. Not being very clean, just kind of coming in here, just doing it wherever. Definitely going to go ahead and hit up everywhere that we put the glue, right? That way you can't tell that it's glue. All these tentacles and stuff. It's the same thing up here. Here a little bit, get these tentacles, a little bit on the bottom of these cuts, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. These cuts. Definitely adding some to this cut right here, you know. Down here under his armpit. Tentacles, and back to the front. I'm going to go ahead and hit up all these stringy areas. Alright, and then you can see he just looks like he's drooling. Bunch of ooze coming out of that cut there. Hit up this a little bit more. There we go. Fantastic. Yeah. Go ahead and set him down real quick. See that you posted something. Yeah. Oh, I do need a little bit of Nurgle's Rot for his arm. 1 second. Before I put this away. So his bell arm, or his knife arm, these tentacles and stuff. Kind of making it look like the tentacles ripping out of his arm or oozing a little bit. And then this one right here too, because he's got all these cracks and stuff in his arm. Just wanted to look a little glistening down in there. And I think that's it. Alright. So what would you say? You're playing a friend with Matt, Admech, and Knights Friday. We both are very competitive, and I play a new list with Nurglings LOC. A few Demonettes plus 1,000 Suns. Patrol a bit like mine. Your main list is... Yeah, I mean, if you have a list that's working real well. But yeah, it's good to break out of that and test new things, you know. Because you might not be losing right now, but you will run into situations that you're not prepared for. But I think it makes you sharper by testing multiple different lists, especially at the beginning of a new edition, you know? Just test the waters, figure out what works, what doesn't work for you. I literally, other than a tournament, I have not played the same list more than once. At all this edition. Alright, coming up here, I'm going to hit up his Nurgling on his shoulder. It looks like he's dry enough now to take some Bealtan green. And which list? My 1,000 Suns list? So the reason why I'll tell you I haven't been really running a blitz. Ooh, I got a splinter in there. The reason I haven't really been running a blitz is even though I really like them and they're really, really good, they don't add to board control at all. So while they might kill whatever it is that they aim at, they still are incredibly swingy. I've had games where, you know, even with the Iron Wars thing, they just don't do well. And same thing, you know, they're really relying on your friends not making their saves. So if you got a buddy who like has a hot streak of saves and the blitz don't kill what they target, yeah, those blitz are gone. I've had many games where I've targeted something like thinking it would die, it doesn't die, and then he turns around and just kills you. And so like multiple units of a blitz, that's why I like Austin's list, is because it is more like it leverages those blitz in a way to control the field more. But I feel like Thousand Suns don't really mesh well with a blitz right now because Thousand Suns are so CP intensive themselves. So whatever I want to run with them, I would make it so like literally whatever it was didn't need CP. Because you know you're eating 3-4 CP every time you shoot those blitz. And a blitz requires CP to function. So, you know, like I said, if those blitz don't do their job, yeah, you've lost the game probably. So I don't feel like my game should rely on one unit to win the game, you know what I mean? Especially crafty players, they can really good players can definitely find a way around a blitz. And same thing, if you run into something like the Unkillable Lord of Change, a blitz on average will not kill that fucking thing. So, so you know, if one of your buddies decides to run that thing, which that's the only real good target usually in a list like that for a blitz, other than, you know, maybe wiping out a couple troops or something. I don't know. It's a very hard sell for me. If I were to run Iron Warriors 100%, I would run them. But yeah, they're just very expensive for what they do. And I've used them a lot. Like I'm not saying I haven't used them, you know. I used them a lot in 8th. Like they were one of my favorite units in 8th. But in 9th, I just feel like everything is, it needs to be either going for an objective, controlling an objective, or have a means on the field of getting you points. So a blitz don't get you points. A blitz kill things that can kill you. A blitz are there to remove the threats that will remove you from the objectives. Yeah, exactly. They can zone you out. Same thing, you know, even if you outflank them, you know, a clever opponent will make sure that those blitz won't hit anything that they don't want you to hit, you know. And same thing, a blitz do not play well into, like, a blitz I feel like are a unit that you want to go second with. And the reason why I say that is, like, real good opponents, what they'll do is, like, say they have, like, a drop, you know, grab Devastators in a drop pod, right? What they're going to do is they're going to hold those devs until you drop those blitz on turn 3, because you have to. And then they're going to turn around and kill your blitz with their devs. And it's going to be a bad time for you. Or Eradicators, or whatever the hell else silliness. I just use Marines as an example, just because it's an easy example, right? But it's a hard sell for me, personally. But I do love Obliterators. And if I were running Iron Warriors, I would 100% definitely try to leverage them to the maximum extent. But I personally, for my playstyle, they just, especially in 9th, I don't like them right now. I just do not like them. And I definitely don't like them with Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns are, they still definitely leverage their psychic powers a lot. Like that list I ran one with, it leveraged a lot of the psychic phase. Like that's how I did my damage, but not necessarily how I won every game. That's how I did a majority of my damage between that and Rubric Marines. And then everything else in the list was basically, you know, hold the field, Control objectives, get secondary points. Yada, yada, yada. And I basically just removed the things that would hurt me the most. Can you remove a unit of 20 Rubric Marines in one list or one turn? Yes or no? If you can, you're my #1 target. You must die. How do I kill? I mean, I killed 4 knights with 1,000 Suns. No, literally it's psychic powers. Like, you don't go into the buffs. You go all in on damage. Literally all my psychic powers, except for a couple, were damage dealing ones. So I think I took Weaver for the Rubric Marines. But yeah, I mean, most of my damage came from either spells or the Rubric Marines doing Rubric Marine things. And Ahriman, and then Bloodletter Bomb too. Bloodletter Bombs can come in and remove a knight or, you know, chunk a knight easily, depending on how big the bomb is. Whether or not you have the CP to sink into fighting twice. You don't remove them all at once. That's how. You don't try to, you aim at one knight at a time. And the thing is, like, so 1,000 Suns are still incredibly survivable, right? Like, they are super, super survivable. So in that game, I basically hid from all the knights that would really hurt me. My Lord of Change soaked up all the damage. And because that was the only big target in the list, so obviously, like, he had a Knight Tyrant, a.k.a. Castellan. And it took him 3 turns to kill my damn Lord of Change with that Tyrant. A Rampager wasn't able to kill a unit of Nurglings. It took him 2 turns. Not gonna lie, my saves were a little good on that unit of Nurglings. They didn't die to those stomps. But, yeah, I mean, it's just a super, super, super survivable list, and you just basically outlast the Knights. You pick off their ability to score by killing things like Armigers. Or War Dogs, I guess. And then that's it. You know? That is the game. Taint hard, man. Taint hard. Alright, so what we're going to do is... Where's my red? And then obviously going into the night matchup, you don't plan on going first. But hence that's why Cult of Duplicity is so important, and taking the redeployment Warlord trait is very, very important for a matchup like that, because like your Rubric Marines standing still, spending all the CP to do all the fun stuff that they do, they can pretty much kill a knight in one turn, or damn near kill a knight. Because even if you can get a knight down to like 1 or 2 wounds, it's functionally out of the game unless it's a, you know, Imperium Knight. Imperium Knights are a little different, but I mean, it's up to you. I love Soul Reaper cannons. I think that they're fantastic. An example is the Knights, right? Your bolters wound on 5s with Veterans of the Long War, whereas your Soul Reaper cannons wound on 4s. Same thing, you're shooting at an Armiger, you're wounding that on 4s as well. Nah, no, not really. Because double tap, you're doing 80 shots. Those are all going to hit on average. If you're wounding them on 5s, that means at least... What? So all of them hit. You're making them take an invone. Yeah, between your psychic powers and everything. So I took a 28 wound knight down to 1 wound in 1 turn. And then same thing, I use Soul Reaper cannons, and the Soul Reaper cannons, at least half of those wounded. So yeah, I mean, I did like 7 wounds with Psychic, and then all the rest was from Rubric Marines. And no, you don't use only rubrics, but you're gonna chunk it enough that you can probably kill it with the other things that you throw at it. Yeah, on my list I also have Exalted Flamers, which are fantastic against knights. So I mean, that's the thing though. Like you're trying to math hammer it out, and I don't believe like math hammer is one thing, but I don't use math hammer. I literally never use math hammer for anything. I just look at something and go, huh, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna try that out. Because if you start math hammering stuff out, that's when you're like, oh man, I rolled below average, and oh man, I should have killed that or whatever. No, instead it's just you throw it at it, and if it dies, it dies. If it doesn't, oh well, you know. Oh, I broke that guy's horn off. Oops. But that's me. That's me. I am not a believer in the old math hammer. I'm more the gut feeling kind of guy. Let the dice and the game speak for itself. But yeah, no, I mean, I didn't kill a knight in a turn. Yeah, I put it at 1 wound, and it just kind of limped along. But at that point, it was ineffective because it was a Chaos Knight. But that's all I had to do, because that was the only thing that could actually kill the Rubric Marines. So... Sorry, just hitting up these nipples real quick. Nice, nice, nice. I do enjoy the 20-man Rubric Blob. It's one of my favorite units in the game. They are very, very good. They definitely take people off guard. Yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean, you play what feels good, man. Yeah, I have yet to play with my Scarab Occult Terminators since I bought them. So I'd be interested to hear how they work out for you. Alright. Trying to finish this guy up because I'm not putting a lot of work into the Nurglings. The Nurglings I'm going to be very basic on for this guy. But we'll at least get him to where he's basically complete. Oop, that is the wrong color. Did I talk about your list this weekend? Because I saw a list that I think it won a tournament, an RTT. No, no, because it didn't have Iron Warriors. It was mono Thousand Suns. But yeah, he was running them like that too, and that was very interesting to me. Like, what's the idea behind that? I'm curious. I mean, that makes sense, yeah. You put them in a building or something. Deal with my saves. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why Thousand Suns are so good right now, is the fact that you can do stuff like that. So good. So very, very good. No, I see the idea behind it. I just feel like there's definitely some hard matchups, and it sounds like you're definitely leveraging trying to go first. I feel like your list is going to struggle real hard going second against like a good player with like a good Marine list, for example. Because like rubrics and stuff like that can't really handle. I had this last weekend when I played against Imperial Fists. Just the pure amount of damage that an Imperial Fist list can put out. Even though I had a 2-up save, I think he was able to kill like 10 rubrics in one turn. That was with all the buffs. So, yeah, because I had underestimated, and this was just with aggressors and some Centurion Devastators with bolters. So, you can only make so many 2-up saves. So I did. I definitely underestimated the amount of damage they could do. So I mean, it's stuff like that where it was like, well, I hadn't planned on this. I mean, I still ended up winning the game, but that was actually mostly off the backs of the demons. Lord of Change took his entire army to actually kill the Lord of Change, which was funny, in one turn. Yeah. Damn thing's so hard to kill. But yeah, that's why, like, so what happens if somebody can push you out into your deployment zone, for example, you play against a Nurgle list with a ton of Nurglings, you're not going to get board control against that. Yeah, your Obliterator's going to come in, they're going to probably pick up a unit of Nurglings a turn, but if they can push you out so long that you don't actually get any points, then that's the game. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I've found with Thousand Suns is that they give up Abhor the Witch. And there's a lot of lists that can get Abhor the Witch very easily. So that's something that I'm changing on my list, is minimizing how much they can get Abhor the Witch and stack it with other abilities, But no, that's just my own personal thing. If it works for you, it works for you, man. Like, Well, yeah, like in the case of the Nurgle list, so you deploy your blitz on the board, but they're still going to push you out. You're not going to be able to take the board until at least turn 2. But you know the really good Nurgle list right now, you know, PBCs can probably pick up a couple of blitz a turn, at least. So you know you're trading your blitz for a unit of Nurglings or 2. Because shit, I can tell you, a unit of Rubric Marines, they do not kill a unit of even 5 Nurglings. Unless you're double tapping into them. Just because they're so damn hard to kill. But I also plan for stuff like that, because that's the sort of stuff I see in my meta. So obviously if it's not in your meta, then it's not something you have to plan for. So... it's just stuff that, like, that's just the things that go through my head with the blitz, you know. I also have very, very good Harlequin players in my area, and Harlequins, if you go second and you do not have those blitz in Deep Strike, or if you have those blitz in Deep Strike and Harlequins go first, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt real bad. And if the Ablitz are on the field, they're going to kill all the Ablitz. That's an example of a matchup that you just got to live until the Obliterators can get down on the field. But yeah, that's a rough one because Harlequins can take a lot of objectives very, very quickly. Very quickly. Alright, let's see. Where's my pure red at? But yeah, I mean, if I were to use a blitz, like I said, I would use Austin Wingfield's list because his is a very different style of list. Because he definitely leverages the Defilers to be that early, like, oh, look at me, shoot me thing, but the real threats are the Obliterators and Abaddon and the other things in the list. So, yeah, whereas Thousand Suns, like, that's where I really feel like you wanna leverage the psychic phase as much as possible. You know what I mean? Oh, do you use 2 units of 2? Or a unit of 3 and a unit, one-man unit? I mean, it's interesting. Okay, 1 of 3 and 1 of 1. I love Zangors. I think Zangors are very, very good right now. Because they are one of those... So, the beauty of things like Zangors and Rubric Marines is that they put the early pressure on, but they're also objective secured. So, for those times where you do go first, you know, you can launch a unit of Zangors. It's really cool. Like, you can have the Zangors in the back, you know, holding the one objective. They can drop a banner or something, and then turn 2 when somebody opens up more and they move out. That's when you can deep strike those Angors behind them, charge, take that objective from them. They play very similar to Bloodletters, and Bloodletters are just, they're a sleeper hit in this edition. Like, nobody's running them, and I don't understand why, because they just go in. They charge whatever's on that objective. They annihilate whatever's on that objective, and then it's theirs, right? Because they're OBSEC. You've got like 20 dudes hanging out there. And not many people are going to actually stop. It's not, though, you know, because you're playing Thousand Suns, so you get Gaze of Fate. You know, roll the 2 dice, see what comes up. Hey, I might have to reroll. If you get a 6 and a 1, right? Reroll that other one. You've got, what, an 80% chance of rolling a 2 or better. Yeah. Hey, what up, Dave? How you doing, man? But Zangors are very, very good right now. Like I said, it's just like they play just like Bloodletters, and Bloodletters are really good right now too. It's just people are sleeping on the things that are good. think we're pretty much done with this guy. Other than his base, but his base has to actually cure. His base is still, it's dried a little bit, actually. Might be able to get the wash on it. Let's see. Agrax or Shade. There it is. Found my Agrax. Bloodletters are just so good, man. They are. They're just so very good. I was genuinely surprised with them, putting them on the field. In theory, they just looked very good, but I actually haven't played them. They are very good in 9th edition. I think if you're a demon player, you should be running them. Definitely. Soup, it's a little harder to find them, find a use for them. Just because they're so CP intensive. You're looking at least 2 CP to use them. Well, 4 now, because you have to have a patrol at least, you know. But I mean, yeah, that goes back to the original idea, though. Like, Zangors fulfill that same role as Bloodletters. Like, if I had a unit of 20 Zangors, it probably... I don't know, I was running demons, though. So, I prefer Bloodletters over Zangors when given a choice. But if I were to, like, do 1,000 Suns with something else or just mono 1,000 Suns, definitely would 100% be running Zangors. Probably 1 or 2 units of them, at least. But like I said, the whole goal for them is just to kind of charge, take that objective from someone, and force them to come take it back from you. Yeah, I wouldn't use that attack on death. My issue with the attack on death strat is you have to roll a 4 up to get it, which to me is dumb for 3 CP. Like, it should be auto, just like Marines, you know, the fight on death. I get that it's an entire unit doing it, but come on, like a 4+. It's kind of, because Bloodletters just die in droves anyway. Or that strat should have been like 2 CP, not 3. 3 CP is a little steep for what it does. So I prefer to run them after this tournament this weekend because I ran a 27-man or 26-man. Just because, you know, I had to swap a few models last second because I didn't have them. And so I was like, screw it, I'll just run more Bloodletters. And I will say that I never found I needed 26 guys to do anything. Because literally they're there to drop in, waste a target, and then die. Die for the glory of the Blood God. But, so I'll say a 20-man is probably the most that you're going to want to run. A 30-man is going to be kind of wasted because you're not going to ever be able to get that many dudes in there unless you're multi-charging something. And I will say I explicitly would not multi-charge things because, especially with the new failed charges, you know, so I charged some Custodes who did Tanglefoot grenade me. He only rolled a 2, so with the +1 from your instrument, you know, I was only -1 to charge. So on average, I should make the charge, right? Failed the charge. CP rerolled the entire charge, and I rolled even lower than what I rolled the first time. So in the game against the Imperial Fist, you know, I charged some TAC Marines, and they were right next to a repulsor. And I get that I could have charged a repulsor, and still on average, I would have made it, because I would have needed a 10. and I rolled a 13, so I definitely made it. But I wasn't gonna risk that because it was such a key play to remove him from that objective. So it was just like, at no point did I feel like I ever needed, 26 guys. I would have been perfectly happy with 20 and it would have been fine. Alright, guys. So at this point, I'm going to close this up. We've gotten to the point where he is completely painted. I just got to finish his base. The Nurglings, I just did it very simple. Just some red on the tongues and eyes just to kind of make those pop out a little bit. Because nobody's going to really be paying attention to the Nurglings, right? And so let's go ahead and put him together a little bit. Just so you guys can see him in all of his glory. I know he's still drying a little bit, so I'm gonna put him together the way that I'm gonna run him this weekend, or not this weekend, this coming weekend. Just need to make sure this doesn't touch the base because the base is still drying. And so here we are, guys. So here's the completed Great Unclean one. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up his base probably tomorrow after work. I'll come in here and I'll just touch up his base to finish it up. But you guys can see, these minimalized Nurglings, they don't really take away from the overall impression of the model. You don't have to get all crazy with every single little bit of it. Sometimes just keeping it simple just makes it fine, But yeah, you guys can see the super rusted weapons. So you can see all the oozing coming out of all of his cuts and stuff. We used all the Nurgle's rot here on the back on his little cloak thing. All the rust and the brown, just super simple. The super rusted sword just made it super rusty looking, And yeah, I mean, so now he is ready to go. He is definitely an above tabletop quality model. But as always, I will take pictures of this guy. I will get him up on the Discord channel for you guys to admire him if you wish to. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this, please like, share it. And yeah, we will come back probably later this week. Probably this weekend. I'll be painting up some more models. So, yeah, I got some Nurglings I got to build this week. I got Karanak I got to build. Got some Demonettes that are coming in I got to build. Some more Flamers I got to build. So, I got a lot of things I still got to build. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.